Welcome to the Tech Blog Writer Podcast, your guide to future tech trends and innovation in a language you understand. Now, over to your host, Neil Hughes.
Welcome back to the Tech Blog Writer Podcast. And a huge thank you to Sugar Sync Fan, who listens to this show somewhere in the US, because I saw this review on iTunes on the US store. And whoever Sugar Sync Fan is, they said Neil has an engaging style with great speakers and great content. So a huge thank you for those incredibly kind words. I don't know who you are or where you listen, but thank you for taking that time to do that. And I'll add one thing to that review. I don't know about the engaging style, but we do have great speakers and who provide some fantastic content. But the only thing I think you missed out is I have a fantastic audience. And a big thank you for how you're rating and reviewing this show, but for tuning in every day and for the wonderful messages that I receive. And one of the things I love about this show more than anything is, yes, I present you with a new tech story and you hear my opinion and the guest's opinion. But what really floats my boat is getting something from you, whereas I get a message from one of you guys listening who offer a different vantage point or a different point of view. And where possible, when I hear things like that, I try to get you on the show too, because I think diversity of thought is so important. But before I start rambling, we need to get back to the show. Today, I want to talk to the guys at Universal Reward Protocol. If you've never heard of them before, Universal Reward Protocol is a blockchain-based protocol where retailers can reward shoppers for shopping behaviour. And that's both online and offline, whether you're in a store visit, online browsing, or just nipping in for a quick purchase. By accepting to share shopping data with the network, a shopper can actually earn reward tokens while data is used by retailers to build redemption offers that best suit each customer's needs. And naturally, shoppers can then redeem their tokens through these exclusive and personalised offers. I've probably revealed far too much. I shouldn't have revealed so many spoilers, so I better keep my mouth shut and get him on the show today. So buckle up and hold on tight as I beam your ears all the way to Paris so we can speak with Millon, CTO and co-founder of Universal Reward Protocol. So a massive warm welcome to the show. Can you tell the listeners a little about who you are and what you do?
Yeah, so thank you for having me, first of all. So I'm Millon. I'm the CTO and co-founder at Universal Reward Protocol. So I'm basically the product architect on the team.
Excellent. Well, my understanding is that the Universal Reward Protocol is a blockchain-based protocol where retailers can reward shoppers for multiple behaviours. But can you just set the scene a little bit and tell the listeners a little more about what kind of problems you set out to solve with Universal Reward Protocol?
Sure. So we're actually an existing company. Some of the world's largest retailers, such as Auchan, Carrefour, or Galeries Lafayette, for the past 3 years and a half. And we were trying to solve the problem that they have in terms of understanding their shoppers, is that they don't have enough data to fight against the pure players like Amazon. Amazon knows you much better than Carrefour or Tesco ever does. So we're addressing this problem by building a platform that will let shoppers share any kind of behavioral data with the brands and retailers that they like. And we're also solving a second problem, which is experienced by shoppers, concerning the loyalty program framework. The traditional loyalty framework is kind of broken. It's not bringing them enough value, mostly because of fragmentation. Shoppers love loyalty, but having 15 different loyalty programs is just not working anymore because point redemption becomes too hard. And so we're solving both of these problems with Universal Reward Protocol.
You're so right in what you say there about the loyalty programs just not working at the moment. But I mean, when creating your solution, what made you choose the route of blockchain and cryptocurrency? And what does it enable you to do that, let's say, you can't do outside of this space?
Yeah, so there's three main motivations to use blockchain. So as I said, we actually were a not blockchain company before, and we started looking into how to solve these two problems together. And blockchain seemed like a natural fit, first of all, for privacy reasons. So if you're going to build a system that lets shoppers share a lot of behavioral sensitive data with different brands and retailers, privacy is obviously going to be an issue. And the fact that for each campaign that a retailer will build, saying, okay, I want to encourage my shopper to have this type of behavior, like visiting a store, posting on social media, etc. For each of these campaigns, we'll ask the shopper a specific consent, a specific opt-in, which will be stored on the blockchain. So the data itself, the sensitive data, is not posted on the blockchain for obvious reasons, but the opt-ins are, which gives the shopper a strong guarantee, a strong promise that the data processing and the data storage will follow the terms, let's say, of the campaign. The second motivation to use blockchain cryptocurrency is that we want, so the name of the project is Universal Reward Protocol, so we want the token to be universal. We basically want one token in the system, not to have each brand and retailer produce their own loyalty token and kind of have like build a token on top to rule them all. We simply have one single token circulating in the system, and that could be done without blockchain, let's say, but it would be really hard to build a whole ecosystem around the token of oracles who trigger the rewarding and of retailers building campaigns without blockchain. And the third reason, let's say, or maybe consequence, is that when we're tokenizing this system, it's very easy for us to subsidize the early adopters of the system, because as we'll see, one of the main challenges of a project is mass adoption. We'll need to have hundreds of thousands of shoppers, millions of shoppers using the protocol. And that makes it a lot easier if you're able to subsidize the early adopters by expecting that the token value will appreciate when the adoption ranks up.
Now, I am hearing more and more about customer loyalty programs on the blockchain. And even, for example, we've got airlines replacing air miles with crypto. And I also recently spoke with the guys at Quibi and their decentralized blockchain-based loyalty ecosystem that they're creating over there. But what excites you about this space at the moment?
Well, first thing is that the space is moving very fast, right? In terms of technological environment, regulatory environment. So that's always exciting for technologists to be in a very dynamic environment. There's also high expectations for a lot of projects, which is a challenge, but an exciting one. And as you said, yeah, a lot of loyalty projects out there. Because blockchain is a natural fit for loyalty programs. It's an easy use case to tokenize, basically. For example, if you just want to take the air miles of an airline and tokenize them, it's pretty easy. The thing is, if you just do that, you don't really solve the second problem I've talked about, the fragmentation of the loyalty framework. So that if you just tokenize all the loyalty programs out there, they'll probably be more efficient, but there'll still be 50 different loyalty programs that the shopper have to redeem separately. So we've kind of taken a different approach. And what excites us is the actual feedback that we've gotten from the industry, from brands and the retailers we've been talking to, is that they're kind of looking for something like this. They don't really know how to do it yet, but they're looking for a different approach to loyalty and to data collection. And that's what we're offering them.
Now, I do get to hear about many projects on this Daily Tech podcast, and some have a bit of a reputation for being built on empty promises. But with URP, you seem to have real-world adoption. And I also noticed that Samuel Baruch, head of e-business and CDO at Nestle, is now advisor on the URP board. So, I've got to ask, why is he so interested in URP? And do you think maybe there could be a way to implement blockchain at Nestle in the future? I understand it is a leading question, but it's quite a big coup for you guys, isn't it?
Yeah, we're really excited to have Samuel on the team. As I said, we've been working with large companies like that for a few years now, and so we've forged relationships with them.
Yeah.
And in the case of Samuel at Nestle, actually, the brands like Nestle have a particular problem, is that they don't really have any direct contact with their consumers, right? The end consumer buys Nestle products at a supermarket, at a convenience store, but they don't really interact with the brand directly. And so a lot of brands are like that, not only food, but like a lot of different brands. And these brands are super excited to be able to interact directly with people, besides just social media interaction, to be able to, let's say, animate their community. In blockchain, we always talk about community, right? And community is very important. You get to have it live and make your project alive. And in the case of brands, it's kind of the same thing. And here, for example, let's say Adidas, right? They love to throw events, sport events. And here they can incentivize people to come to an event, take a selfie, interact with people working for the brand. And so that's, I think, what Samuel thought was exciting about the project. And in terms of adoption, of course, we hope that one day we'll be able to work with such a huge company as Nestle with 100 billion euro of revenues. it's we're not quite there yet, but that's where we're working towards. Yeah.
Well, here we are in 2018, and already it feels like we're living in a post-Cambridge Analytica world and greater awareness around privacy. So do you face any challenges around learning shopping behaviours of customers and creating a unique rewards program, but without being creepy? Because it's critical you get that balance right, isn't it?
Yeah, it's totally right. It's actually it was the center of our reflection around the product. It's actually the idea for the product actually came from that, because the first product that we built was based on indoor geolocation and basically analyzing the in-store activity of shoppers to personalize marketing. So if you spend a lot of time in a given area of the store, we'll know that you're interested in products that are stored there, and then we can personalize the marketing according to that, which is creepy, we have to admit. The thing is, that's what we wanted to revert the whole thinking around that, is that instead of trying to learn a lot about people without them really knowing about it, like, I don't know, a lot of companies are buying data off Facebook or Google. We're actually directly asking people, okay, this brand wants to know you better. They want you to come to their store to discover the products, or they want you to follow them on Instagram. Are you willing to do that? And if so, is €2, for example, enough reward for you? And to verify that you've done this behavior, we'll need to collect a bit of data. Are you willing to do that? So it's really putting the customer in control of what they want to share and with whom. And it's really actually the core of the GDPR thinking, I think. Is just putting the person back in control of their data, of what they want to share. But mostly, I think people find creepy shadow data collection, basically. Data collection that happens in the background without them knowing about it. Like all these SDKs put in all the apps that are collecting like GPS, whatever. That's creepy, but when people are asked directly, are you willing to do that? It doesn't become creepy anymore. It's just a simple deal that they can take or refuse. And if they take it, they can earn points.
I completely agree. And it's so refreshing to hear as well. So can you help listeners understand exactly how Universal Reward Protocol is bringing shopping back to brick and mortar, and maybe even provide a use case of exactly how it works, just to help them visualize how it would work in their world?
So just to start with, brick and mortar retailers are probably the ones suffering the most in the last decade. Mostly due to the rise of e-commerce and to the changes in the way people shop. And mostly these types of retailers, their main problem is getting people to come back to their store more, right? People still love to shop in brick and mortar stores. 90% of all retail spending happens offline. So even though growth is amazing, Alibaba is amazing, 90% of all spending still happens offline. So the way we want to use this protocol to bring shopping back to brick and mortar is by letting these retailers spend their marketing budgets differently. Instead of buying billboards on the side of the highway, buying TV ads and radio ads, etc., all saying, okay, you should come to our store, it's awesome, we have low prices, we have great products, etc. It's actually spending just a tiny bit of this budget and just telling customers directly, okay, are you willing to come to my store and spend 30 minutes browsing my products in exchange for this amount of reward? And it's actually very interesting because a study that we found shows that in the US, the typical cost of generating one incremental visit, meaning not even a new customer, right? Someone to get someone to come once more to your store, the cost is about $50, $55 actually in average. So for food retailers, it might be around $15, $20. For very specialized retailers in electronics, maybe $100. So even if you take 10% of that or 20% of that and you ask people, okay, are you willing to come and spend half an hour in my store in exchange for $10? We think that it might be very actually attractive and exciting for shoppers to do it. And it might be a new way for them to discover brands and to go back to shops and to brick and mortar stores.
So in this industry, it just seems that everyone has a crystal ball at the moment. So can I just ask for your predictions around the blockchain acceptance in the retail space? I mean, how far off is that, do you think?
So it's a complicated question. I think the retailers and brands themselves, it's moving really fast. Like only last year, 2 years ago, they really didn't know what blockchain was. It was some curious tech that was emerging. Only last year, Carrefour, for example, launched a pilot for the traceability of their chicken. So I think most retailers for now mostly see blockchain as a logistics tech, like something they can use for logistics. But it's good because it forces them to get more educated about what it can do. And so we've been finding that the people we talk to, the executives we talk to at these brands and retailers, are getting more and more acquainted with what the technology is capable of. So that's a really good thing. And in terms of let's say mass adoption on the side of the shoppers, something that everybody has been seeing, right? The adoption is not really coming through. The promises of the field is that everybody will use blockchain at some point. It's just not happening yet. We think that it's mostly because the use case aren't there. The use case that is really useful, not to someone that is someone that knows blockchain, that is blockchain savvy, that is really excited, about crypto, but the regular shopper, right? Like my mom, like all the people you know, they don't really know anything about blockchain. And if it's useful to them, they will use it. If it's something that it couldn't be done before and now it's possible thanks to blockchain, like universal rewarding for different types of behavior, like there's tons of other use cases. I think it will be adopted pretty fast. So people in the end don't really care if even outside of blockchain, if your app lives in the cloud or on your private server, they don't really care. It's tech, right? It's the usage that they're interested in.
So do you think in the future that this technology almost needs to be invisible? Because like you said there, your mum or my parents, they don't need to know that it's on blockchain. They just want it to work, don't they?
Yeah, and it's actually one of the design choices that we've made for URP. That on the shopper side, the blockchain will be almost invisible. They'll see that they have a shopping app that offers them different deals with different brands and retailers to interact with them, to share data with them, and they'll earn points. So if the person knows about blockchain, they'll have some options that will make the app more interesting. But the basic user will just be collecting points, and when they have enough, they can spend them with any brand or retailer in the network, which is the universal part, and they can also cash out, right? If they have, let's say, over 10 euros worth of coins that they've been collected, they can just ask for fiat money equivalent of these tokens. So in the end, they don't really see the blockchain at all.
Certainly sounds like an incredibly exciting time for you guys. So before I do let you go, is there anything else you can share with us about the road ahead, that next 12, 18 months and your big vision?
Yeah, we're currently working on the prototype of the protocol. We're working with a consensus to build it. So we'll have a demo out by the end of October, actually, so very soon, and a fully functional beta by Christmas. So that's the short-term roadmap. And then currently we're conducting our ICO. Will be over by the end of 2018, and then our main milestone is to have a production ready, like a production launch in June 2019. So in terms of mass adoption, we will be able to put this blockchain-based protocol in the hand of every shopper, by the middle of next year. And after that, it's mostly about convincing people that it brings them enough value to download and to use, to keep using.
Fantastic. Well, if you have awoken the curiosity of anybody listening anywhere in the world, can you just remind the listeners of where they can find you guys online, download white papers, read your roadmaps, or maybe just contact a member of your team if they've got any questions?
Sure. So a good way to get information about the project is on our website. So it's www.rewardprotocol.com. So the white paper is there, the technical white paper and tokenomics reflection is there. They can also join our Telegram channel, which is great. And other than that, we're always happy to have people get in touch with us. So you can get in touch at my email address, lewis@rewardprotocol.com, or just contact@rewardprotocol.com. reach out, talk to us, tell us how we can improve, and that's always very helpful.
Excellent. Well, just listening to you talk there, it certainly got me thinking about when I enter a supermarket, my basket is essentially full of brands, and that supermarket knows all about what I'm buying and are going to change the prices based on my shopping habits maybe and manipulating the prices. But the brands themselves, they're completely unaware of how loyal I am to them. So anything that allows me as a user to opt in and create that direct relationship, it's got to be a good thing. So a big thank you for coming on. I wish you the best for the future, and I'd love to stay in touch, and we'll get you on in next year and see how you're getting on with it.
All right. Thanks a lot, Neil.
The big takeaway from today's conversation for me was that vision of a future where retailers such as Nestle could actually incorporate blockchain into their business models and reach consumers that they currently don't have. And I'll be honest, before today, it never occurred to me that brands that I'm most loyal to actually don't know a single thing about me. But the supermarkets do, and I think that's food for thought on its own. And I also enjoyed exploring how Universal Reward Protocol is bringing shopping back to brick and mortar and the effects that blockchain acceptance could bring to the retail space when consumers begin embracing solutions such as this. And of course, despite all the hype around blockchain, the reality is the average consumer does not need to know about the tech, and that's why it will quickly become invisible. Consumers want seamless experiences across every device. They don't care about what makes it possible, and why should they? But that's me and today's guest offering our opinion. But now over to you. This isn't just a platform for me to give my opinions. The way this show works is I want to hear yours too. So email me techblogwriter@outlook.com or tweet me @NeilC.Hughes. And if you want to come on the show, there's an open mic for you to come on so you can share your opinions and your voice too. But that's it for today's episode, so a huge thank you for taking the time to tune in yet again, and I'll return again tomorrow with another great guest. So thanks for listening, and until next time, don't be a stranger.
Thanks for listening to the Tech Blog Writer Podcast. Until next time, remember, technology is best when it brings people together.